okay? So we want to find the function g of x. And we know a few things about it. We know that it comes from f of x, which is 2x squared plus x. Okay. We also know that in order to get from f of x, to transform f of x to g of x, we need to translate it 4 units to the left. We also need to translate it 1 unit down. And we also need to reflect it over the x-axis, sorry, y-axis. All right, so let's do that. Let's just take it one step at a time. All right, so we have to start out with this original function, f of x, okay? So there's four steps here. We'll start with original function, then we have to do these following 2, 3, and 4 steps to translate it all. Translate, translate, or transform, 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 okay? So I'm going to start with number 1, step number 1, okay? Step number 1 says that we have to start with f of x is equal to 2x squared plus x. Okay, easy, done, okay? Step number 2, let me change colors. Step number 2, we have to translate it 4 units to the left, okay? Let me pick a better one. Step 2, okay? So we need to translate it 4 units to the left, and if you refer to the chart that we just discussed, we're going to have to subtract 4 units next to the x over here. So essentially what we need to do is we need to find f of x minus 4. All right. Now, if I plug in an x minus 4 into the function, I have to put into every x that I see here. So when I see an x, I'm going to put in x minus 4. When I see an x, I'm going to put in x minus 4. All right. And so that, let's clean it up a bit. We get 2 times x squared. Let's see, let's just leave it like this for now, actually. I'm not going to clean it up. Just kidding. Because I'm thinking that we can probably clean it up after we do steps 3 and 4. Okay, so we have this. Let's just leave it at that. Okay. So the next step, let's move on. The next step, step number 3, okay, we need to translate it 1 unit down. So we have to take our f of x minus 4, and then we have to subtract 1. So that's going to appear 2 times x minus 4 squared plus x minus 4 minus 1. Okay. So from here, what we're going to do is, let me clean it up at this point because this reflection is going to get a little bit more complicated. So I'm not going to simplify this yet, okay? But I can see this is bothering me, so I'm just going to go ahead and clean that up. Because this is going to be plus x, oops, and it's going to be minus 5. Right? And the reason why I'm not cleaning it up yet is because step number 4, which is the last step in our transformation, we need to reflect it over the y-axis. And again, when you refer to the chart, if we need to reflect something over the y-axis, we have to put in negative x into this transformation, okay? So we are essentially looking for this original thing, but we have to put in a negative x into our function, okay? So I need to put in negative x, so I need to put in a negative x for every x that I see up here. So if I do that, I have 2 times negative x minus 4 squared plus negative x minus 5. So every time I see x, I have to put a negative x in. And that's what will help me reflect over the y-axis. So now I can clean it up entirely. I get 2 times, and if I FOIL this out, okay, I end up with x squared minus 8x and plus 16 plus negative x, which I'm just going to write as minus x, and minus 5. And distribute the 2 out, and we get, I'm going to bring it up there in case it's getting it too low. Okay, so if I clean this up, I get 2x squared minus 16x. 2 times 16 is 32. Plus x minus 5. That's going to be a plus 32, and it's going to be a minus x minus 5. All right, so now we can combine like terms, and we end up with 2x squared minus 17x. 32 minus 5 is going to be 27. So this is going to be the g of x. I should write that down. Okay, after we've done all 4 steps, we've written it down, translated 4 to the left, dropped it down by 1, reflected it over the y-axis by putting in a negative x in, we end up with this function. All right.